Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine. Today I'm going to give you another great workout you can do in your home. We're going to use a band, a tube, and we're going to do some rows. So I've got my tube about chest height. You can use a TheraBand or any type of band, stretchy band, or you can use your machine if you have an exercise machine at home to do some rows with. Then we're going to do, let's see, the only other thing we need is another band. You can use the same band for both if you need to, but for the second one we need it to be a little bit lighter in resistance, and a set of dumbbells and a medicine ball. But you can also use one of your dumbbells if you don't have a medicine ball for that exercise. So I'll explain that as we go. Okay, we're going to start with some rows. We're not going to do anything fancy with this. It's just going to be a regular old row where we can really focus on squeezing those shoulder blades, working on that posture. So remember, when you get started, we're going to be just in a little bit of an athletic stance, knees bent, hips back, abs tight. And then remember, you can step forward to make it easier, step back to make it harder, depending on what you have for tubes. You can double up your tubes. Anything like that. So what we're going to do is start with your shoulders down, squeeze back. Think about squeezing a pencil between those shoulder blades, driving your elbows towards the back of the room. Nice and slowly, both directions. So control that weight, particularly if you're on a machine, because you don't want to get hurt. But this is a good way to use your exercise machine if you have one. Keep breathing. Breathe out as you pull back. Nice and slow. We're getting your biceps here as well as your upper back and shoulders. Let's do 2 more. And 10. Good. Might have been a few more than 10, but that's okay. All right. Next, we're going to do floor to stand. Now, we've done this in the past. I mentioned it a little bit in my last video. Even if you don't have any trouble getting off the floor, it's a really good thing to practice. And if nothing else, it's a really great full body workout. So when you're down on the floor, I'm going to give you the basics to remember if you do have trouble with it. Some people are afraid to death to fall because they're afraid they're not going to be able to get back up. So it's a really great thing to practice and feel really strong about. So if you're down on your hands and knees, I'm going to move that camera down just a little. Down on your hands and knees. Now, your goal is to bring this foot forward. Either foot, it does not matter. I know a lot of times getting down on your hands and knees is really hard because if you've had a knee replacement or if being on your knees really hurts. But I don't recommend using a pad of any sort because then that's a trip hazard. So try it on your carpet if that's the softest thing you can use. So we're going to put one foot forward and then bring our weight back over our hips, so that we're like in a, upright position. This leg is at a 90-degree angle. We're going to use our other hand here and push off. So I'm having a hard time getting my right angle here. I think that'll be good. Okay. So let's try the other leg. Usually one leg is easier than the other, but one leg up. So I usually say foot, hand, up, and then your other hand, and then you go all the way up. So we're going up. Instead of if we're here, lots of people like to try to stand up like this. And if that is the only way you can get up, and you can't push up from here, the problem is my weight is going forward. And if I stand, and then I have to try to catch myself to stand up. Another thing you can do is if you can't quite do it with all of your own power, keep doing the floor to stand. If you're able to, keep moving on your exercise. I'm going to give you another way to do this. Another way to do this is if you have to crawl over to something to use it for a stable surface, get your opposite foot up, still bring that weight back over your center of gravity. You want to be upright, use that stable surface, and then stand up. Okay, so I've done 2 on my left leg. I'm going to switch, bring my weight back, stand up. We're going to do 5 on each leg. you have no problem with this, do 10 on each leg. This is a really great full body exercise. In addition to being extremely practical, I have quite a few clients who tell me, I'm not getting on the floor. I'm not getting on the floor, I can't get back up. Or that they're really afraid to fall, because if they fall, there's no way they're gonna get back up. So I really feel this is probably one of the most important things you can practice. Like I said, even if you don't have any trouble with it, it's a good thing to just ingrain in your brain how to get your foot forward, hand up, other hand, press straight up. The goal is to go straight up, not forward. Up, and then stand up. Remember, if you need to, use that stable surface. You can use a kitchen chair or a bench. A coffee table is a great resource for this. Sofas can be difficult because they're cushy. Let's do one more on the other leg. But something sturdy that's not going to move around on you. Okay, floor to stand. If you have any questions about that, please send me a message. We can work going forward on that. Okay, now we're going to grab our other band, our lighter band. We're going to stand on one leg. First, let me explain the shoulder external rotation. So this is a really great shoulder stabilizer. You're going to put your hands in a 90-degree angle like this, like you're holding a platter. Grab that band, and we're going to pull apart just slightly. Now, if you have a really light band and you need more weight, more strength, double it up. You know, you can find that. Figure out how to make it easier. If you have a really hard band, this is going to be a little bit difficult. So I want to do a single leg stance with this shoulder external rotation. So keeping your hips stable. And notice that I'm not going very far with this shoulder external rotation. I don't want you going way out here. You're kind of going past that range of motion that I want to work on. So just a real small range of motion here, keeping your shoulders down away from your ears. And it might not feel very hard at first, but as you continue through the set, you're going to start to feel a little bit of burn in the backs of your shoulders. And if that's all you feel, great. There shouldn't be any pain with this. If it is, make sure you're staying in that smaller range of motion, giving it as little bit of resistance as you can. And then if you're still having pain, message me and we'll work on it. Okay, now we're going to lower down to the floor. And we're going to go into a bridge again. So remember, when we go down into the bridge, feet flat, we're going to flatten your back to the mat or the floor. And we're going to pull up into a bridge. So we did this the last time. I'm going to change this up a little bit. So we're in our bridge. Our heels are where our weight is. Squeezing your glutes. We're going to do tiny little marches. While you're doing these marches, your goal is to keep this as stable as you can. Like there's a teacup sitting here and you don't want it to spill. One way that's a little easier is to have your hips down here beside your hands down here beside your hips. It's not a big march, you're not raising it way up here, just tiny, just barely lift your foot off the ground and try to maintain a flat, stable surface here. Okay, great. So either do like 10 on each side, or you can do them for 30 seconds. If it's not very hard for you, slow it way down. Try to lift your feet. Even the less you can lift your feet, actually, the harder it is. Okay, now we're going to stay down here. And we're going to do a Russian twist. So we've done these before, but it's been a little while. I'm going to add a little extra to this. So I've got a little medicine ball here. The other thing you can do is use a weight, a dumbbell, or just, a playground ball or a pillow, anything. You don't really need to have anything really heavy here. So I'm just seated here, my heels are on the ground, I'm going to lean back a little bit. So if you need to, you can put a rolled up towel right here in your sacrum, or a soft medicine ball, or any type of, little pillow. I'm going to go to one side, give a little jab at the top. The other side, little jab at the top. So we're going to go 10 times all the way through. Trying to maintain just this angle. I'm not really changing my angle. Keep breathing. Breathe that air out. 4 more. Keeping those shoulders down. 8, 9, and 10. Okay, great. Those were Russian twists. So like I said, you don't have to use anything fancy. If you've got a dumbbell or even just a playground ball, or if you just do it with your hands, you're still going to get the same motion. Trying to keep this nice and tall. Don't hunch your shoulders. Keep that torso nice and tall. Okay, we're going to end with a good shoulder press. So I'm going to get my camera pulled up here. A good floor to stand. Now remember, when you pick up your weights from the floor, you're bending your knees, protecting your back. We're going to do a little bit of a tandem stance. I want to do alternating shoulder press. So when you do your shoulder press, we're going to do a tandem stance here. You can either have them out to the side like this, or you can have them brought in close like this. And this usually is easier on people's shoulders. I'm going to raise this up a little bit. So keep that tandem stance. When you have them in like this, when your elbows are in closer, it's usually easier on people's shoulders, a little less. And then also, we're doing it alternating, so it's actually a little bit harder. Remember, if you've grabbed too heavy of dumbbells, press pause, go get a lighter set. I'd rather have you go a little bit lighter than a little bit too heavy. I think this is 9, 10, and 10. Okay, so the next time through, put your other foot in front. And then the same thing with that shoulder external rotation. The next time through, make sure you're standing on your other foot. If you need to, make a note somewhere. Generally, I almost always start off with my right foot, either standing on my right foot or with my right foot in front. So if you find that you kind of do the same thing depending on which side, then it's pretty easy to remember which side to switch to the next time. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Go through this again 1 to 2 more times. Add a little cardio in between if you need to. If you want to make it a longer, more intense workout and keep that heart rate up, that's a great way to do it. Let me know if you have any needs or suggestions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.